Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Over the past many years, we've accumulated over 900 videos, now almost about 1,000 videos on this channel, that has reached out and helped millions of people around the world with their breakup problems, the emotional problems, the things that happens and how they feel and think after they break up. And apparently it's been very helpful to people, finding the reasons why they feel the way they do through understanding their psyche, how their thoughts and consciousness, fear, desire, and ego plays a role in how they feel and how they're reacting in what has been going on in their lives. But today, I want to go a little bit deeper and ask you to come along with me and let's take a little journey inside your own head, inside your own psyche, and figure out where is the responsibility for this breakup. And I want you together take responsibility for this breakup. This channel is originally made for the young men's point of view, so I discuss it as if it's with a discussion with a young man for his breakup over his girlfriend. So you can change it around to whatever your situation and your relationship type is. So that would be easier for me to flow and say what I want to say rather than many different kinds of relationship that would stop the flow of the sentences. Now, often after a breakup, you're looking for answers in the other person. And you say, why did she leave me? What did I do? What could I do more? And the love of my life left me. As if she's in control of everything in your life. Now, of course, through the about 1,000 videos that we have, you have perhaps checked them out and you've seen many topics we discussed about the order has changed, part of the pain you're going through, mechanical process, psychological security, all these that would have something to do with the way you feel. But today what we want to do is we want to understand who is really responsible for this whole feeling of that you've lost the love of your life. And the question would be, have you? Have you lost the love of your life? Or have you lost the pleasure of your life? And what is the difference? Well, if you think you've lost the love of your life, the next question would be, did you know this love of your life? Because to love something, you got to know that thing. To love someone, you got to know that person. So, answer this question to yourself. Excuse me. Do you know, or did you know your girlfriend? That person, the entity, that human being. You say, yes, I knew her because I had talked with her, I had seen her, and she's exactly what I wanted. And you feel that you got the knowledge about her through physical interaction that you had with her. You saw her, you liked her, then you started having activities, dating, and whatever else that is that you exchange in communication and interactions, and therefore you assume and conclude that you knew her. Well, so do you know what is it that you got to know? In other words, when you want to get to know someone, what do you have to, where is it that you should look to know, to get to know that someone? Is it how she dresses? Is it how she looks? Is it how she talks? Is it how she smiles at you? What is it that you're loving? That you say, I love her. And to love her, you got to know her. And if you knew her, what is it that you knew? Then, what is it that you loved? Let's discuss that. So let's find out how do you know yourself first. Then on that same formula, we see if you know the same thing that you know about yourself, about her, to conclude that you know or you knew her. Therefore, you have the right to miss her and be devastated about it, that you knew someone that was so wonderful to you. So, what do you think you are? What do you know about yourself? How you look is who you are. How you talk. What you're interested. What brings you pleasure. What makes you mad. What disappoints you. What is it that you think you know yourself? Or do you know yourself at all? Or you're just simply reacting to the pain and pleasure in your life. Something makes you feel good, you like it. Something you know that doesn't make you feel good, you don't like it. And you're living your life based on these obviously natural instincts that you go through. Well, I think in one of the videos we discussed, who are we? How are we made? And in that video you will get to know that if you really know yourself or not. So in here, you know that you're not the entity that you're physically seeing yourself. This is just a vessel. And this vessel is being operated through a program. What to do, what to like, where to go, and what parameters it should operate. And all of that information comes from your conditioning since childhood in your psyche, in your consciousness. Your religion, your customs, your nationality, your education, your parents, what you did, what you saw, what you read, what you've been exposed to, your teachers, your dogmas, everything else that you have come to contact with through your childhood has brought about this conditioning in your consciousness, which has created your center, where you operate, where all your instructions come from, how you're put together, why you act and react and feel attachment or not, like or dislike, pleasure or not towards something or someone. All of that is what you're all about. The rest of it is an apparatus that takes this consciousness along wherever you go, so the consciousness can experience things. So really who you are is not what you see in the mirror, it's just what carries you. What you see in the mirror is the vehicle that carries the real you, which is your consciousness, your center, who you are, how you're made out of, what you're made out of, how you're put together. So on that basis, do you think you actually know her or knew her the way you know yourself? Or did you know yourself anyhow? Let's say you do. Let's say you were wise to this and you knew that you're not just what you look like, what you wear, or what you eat, or how much money you have, or what car you drive. You're actually put together through all these conditionings that through your life you've come across and you've been exposed to, subjected to, and formed your consciousness. And from your consciousness, you come up with thoughts. Everything that you think about, every thought comes from the field of the known, your consciousness. And so that's how you know yourself, your center, how you tick. Now, did you know this information about her? Or did you get the information that you know about her through her physical appearance? And you thought that physical appearance is communicating with you the information that you need in order to consider if you know someone or you don't know someone. So let's talk about this, that we should take responsibility for the breakup. And I know many of the videos has explained to you the things you got to think about and be alert and be wise to why the breakup took place, why you feel the way you feel. And we've gone over that, you've watched all of that, and now we want to figure out what is your role in this inwardly. not from blaming, what she did, what she didn't. We're not talking about what happened, what she did, what you did, what went on. These are not how to take responsibility about your breakup. We want to go further and deeper, see where the responsibility started. And I think where it started is the fact that you start loving someone that you didn't even know, but you thought you knew, because you based your information on knowing that person on the physical appearance and the physical interactions that you had with her. Such as when you meet someone, or let's say met her, or another woman, let's say, or whatever your case is, if you're a lady watching this, another man, whatever your situation is. So you see a woman, we're talking about a man and a woman, so you see a woman with a certain posture, a certain tidying up, certain grooming, certain way of wearing her hair, a certain way of having put her clothes on, what she has on, the way she has, presented herself to negotiate her daily life. And so you're looking at this woman. So what do you see? Do you see her, or do you see an idea of her? Do you see an image of someone who's standing in a certain way, which that stance and that way of clothing that she's wearing brings to your attention an image of a woman that you have seen in your life somewhere else, let's say in a movie or in a different setting or in a meeting or somewhere you were passing by, and let's say that character that you saw in a movie with that kind of a stance and look or a perception had a certain kind of a character or a role in the movie that associates with this stance, with this look, with this posture, which quickly it reminds you of that character when you look at this woman that you just happen to meet or see from a bit of a distance. So now at this point, you're not really seeing this woman. You're actually seeing what this woman resembles and reminds you of. And now you're in your memory and actually perceiving this woman as something that you have experienced seeing in your memory some other time in a different venue. And now the characteristics of that is now being overexposed. It's being transferred to this woman that you're looking at. So you now come up with conclusions that this woman is strong, this woman is smart, this woman is intelligent, this woman is faithful, this woman is caring, this woman is easy to talk to. All the characteristics that you remember of having seen such a posture, such a stance, such a look, such a presentation in a movie or in some other setting in life. So you got this information all from looking at her, but it's got nothing to do with her. You assume now, you perceive that this is what she is. On that premise, you go forward. You're interested because you've already created a character for her. And that is now in your consciousness. And your world is really limited to your consciousness, to the content of your consciousness. So now, right now, you see this physical form, you've given it character based on what you knew about such a character to have. Such a person with this look and presentation would have a certain character as you perceive it from your memory, and now you're entering into communication with her. So far you can see that you know nothing of her, but you perceived her, not observed her, not really who she is, but you have created an idea, an image of her in your mind based on what your needs and preferences is. So all your information at the moment is incorrect, but you're going on it because it gives you certain pleasure, because it's meeting the standards that you hoped to be able to find in a woman in order for you to get to know her and be interested in her. So you get to know her, and you interact with her, and eventually you guys date and get to know each other more. And all this time, you have this character that you've created for her is hanging over your head, and you're trying to figure out this is what she is and what are the differences. You get all your information about her through the filter that you've created to see her through that characterization and the illusion that you've created for yourself. And you simply compromise and see other things as pleasurable. It's the beginning of the relationship, and eventually you guys become a couple. Now, all through this time, you still don't know her, because you don't know the things you know about yourself about her. You don't know how she's put together. You don't know how she feels about her way of thinking, her own center, how she's perceiving herself, what image she has of herself in her mind, because you have an image of you in your mind, and then you have an image of the people that you meet and interact about them in your mind, and your image and the image you have of the other people in your mind are interacting. And now you have an image of yourself in your mind, and you have an image of this girlfriend of yours now in your mind, but yet she has a different image of herself in her mind. And she also has an image of you in her mind. So the two images, while her image and your image in her mind, and her image and your image in your mind are interacting, but these two images, the image that you have of her in your mind and the image that she has of her in her mind, is different. Because her image is based on what she knows about herself, her religion, her customs, her dogmas, her limitations, her secrets, her whatever it is. And your image of her in your mind is about what you thought a certain character in a certain movie or a certain setting, or however you thought of her to be. The perception you have of her is based on. But you think that's what she is, and she doesn't know what you really see about her, how you see her. She really doesn't know the image you have of her in your mind. She only thinks that you have the same image that she has of herself in her mind, and you have the same image of her in your mind. And that's where the division and conflicts beginning without either one of you know about it. And when the problems start, you wonder, oh, the love of my life, I knew it, but you never knew her to be in love with her. You were in love and lust at the same time with an image that you had created of her. You never knew her. So the person that at the moment you have lost or it's broken up with is not a person that you really were in love with, is a person that you were in pleasure with. That's all. A physical pleasure in knowing her in a limited basis on some physical interactions and on basis of the image you had created of her in your mind, and you were interacting on that basis. Your images were interacting, and that's why it never worked out, because you really never knew each other. You only knew about each other's image that you had yourself created in your own minds. So now that you have broken up, you say, I lost the love of my life. But where does love take place? Love is different than pleasure. Love is different than lust. So you had to be able to know her, to love her. And we just proved that you never knew her. You only knew about an image you had of her in your mind, which is not her. It's not her center. It's not how she's put together. It's not what she believes, how she sees her aspirations, the way her consciousness, the content of her consciousness is put together is her, but you didn't know that. You only knew about limited interaction with her based on pain and pleasure and things that she liked and a physical interaction with each other. So really, what you have lost in this breakup is not someone that you knew, that you loved, because to love her you should have known her. Since you didn't know her, you couldn't have loved her. You lusted her. You had pleasure with her. You had acquaintances, or you were in love with the image of her that you had created in your mind. And she had the same information from you in her mind, an image of you in her mind. And eventually, these images, which were interacting, it became illimited. They could not go any further. They could not expand the relationship. They could not understand and interact on the consciousness level because they never focused on it and they never knew each other's consciousness. So what you have lost is really nothing a big deal. It's someone that you really didn't know. So if you think of it this way and take responsibility for it, then you will see that, hey, there's so many other people out there, so many other women, that this time you will try to get to know her on her basis on her consciousness and to get to know her real self and not have a relationship with her image, but with the two of you together, and hope to expand on that. Hope that would be something for you to think about and perhaps is a food for thought, and I hope that will help you to get out of the puddle that you have parked and get out of this and move on with your life as soon as possible. Enjoy your life, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.